All right, welcome in everybody to the Players Only podcast. I am back this week after my 4th of July vacation.
Oh yeah.
Austin was able to keep the fort down. If you haven't seen last week's episode, I have it on the playlist, so you can go and check that out. As well as any older episodes, any newer episodes, again in the playlist. I love playlists for all the YouTube videos. Talking about all the YouTube videos this week, I got a full week planned on the channel. Players Only Podcast today. Then Career Chronicles, we kick off that series tomorrow. An individual named Falcon. We talk about starting work at Walmart. Wednesday, we have a bit of a fantasy football league mess that we'll be discussing. And then Friday, just another food review, food challenge. More food from the dollar store. But yeah, kicking
Nice.
things off, talking about sports wise. The first sports news that comes to mind, and I'm just sick of hearing about it, is Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, D Hop can still play, but I'm just sick of, like, it's obvious he wants to go to a contender, Kansas City
Yep.
or Buffalo. They don't have money. New England and Tennessee does, but he's
Yep.
like, I don't want to go there and just lose, or
Right.
just be mediocre for what, you know, no point. So I'm kind of sick of hearing about that. And Delvin Cook, he's probably not going to play this year because no one's going to give him enough money. Unless the
Yep.
Dolphins have a bunch of injuries at running back, then it ain't going to happen.
Right. And I know the Dolphins did offer him a contract that they themselves leaked, but they didn't exactly leak how much money that they were offering him. At least I didn't see anything. Um, but it's not enough money for Dalvin Cook. He thinks he's worth quite a bit of cash, and he's fine just sitting on that $2 million that the Vikings need to pay him and riding it out, which I mean could pay off for him. I mean the league itself is kind of running slim on star running backs, but at the same time too, it's risky, so
Mm-hmm.
can go to a shitty team.
Right? But yeah, just long story short, I'm sick of hearing about it. I think other people will be if they're not already soon.
Yep.
Um, and then two, the show Undisputed with Skip Bayless. That is taking a 2 month, what's the word, like hiatus, or just
Yep.
they're not going to air it for 2 months. Which, I mean, typically this time of year they have backups come on, like Skip and Shannon would take some kind of vacation before NFL season starts,
Hmm.
and then after basketball, like most of free agency there. It's going to be a quiet free agency too in basketball or in the NBA. Just not a lot of stars have contracts that are coming up. I don't see too many other trades happening. Um, Really, only news there was Kyrie. They re-signed him in Dallas, which actually surprised me a lot
Hmm.
because they had the four seed, maybe the 3 seed or the 5 seed, somewhere in there when Kyrie got traded there, and then they totally fell out of the playoffs, like all the way down to 11.
Yep.
So that surprised me a little bit. And then there's like a mid-season tournament that was just announced within like the last day or two. I don't really get if you win what exactly happens. Um, they said this is something that happens in the Premier League. Are you familiar with soccer at all by chance?
Not very much. No.
No. I will say for our Timberwolves though, we kind of got. Um, I'd say looking at the Western Conference brackets, we got in the weakest one. So that's good.
We're
Outside of
also
Golden
one of the
State,
worst teams.
yeah, outside of Golden State, we should at least have 3 wins. But
Mhm.
yeah, 3 of the 4. But yep, we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, any kind of sports news that I'm forgetting about? here in July?
Yeah. So I got two. One of the trade talks that I made sure to wait because as soon as he signed his contract, now he wants to leave. Your boy James Harden, he wants out. Uh, any idea or any thoughts about him leaving and where he might go?
Well, I hope it's the Clippers, because
Yeah.
then it'd be like two of my favorites on the same team, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
People are saying Houston again, but I don't know. That'd be kind of weird. They wouldn't really be a contender.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get to shoot a lot, and
Right.
people are speculating maybe that's what he didn't like about Philadelphia is they wanted Joel Embiid to have the ball a lot,
Yeah.
score a lot. Tough to say because he's not the most vocal guy either, so who really knows
Sure.
what the problem is there. But yeah, he
You think
does. Of all NBA players, he has demanded a trade 3 times, and yeah, that's the most of any player. So,
you
yeah.
think at this point you're gonna pick him up for fantasy basketball, depending on
Well,
where he goes?
we'll see where he goes, yeah, and what round I can get him in. Because, right, like the Clippers, I would argue that makes him less valuable because you'd have
Mm-hmm.
2 other real good players that can score. Where if it's Houston and he's playing with a bunch of nobodies, yeah, then I'd really like to have him again.
Right.
Because he'd be a monster. But yeah,
Uh,
we'll see.
all right. And then the really big sports news, because really there's not a ton of actual sports going on besides baseball. But the first overall pick of the NBA, Victor, how do you say his last name?
Wimbenyama.
He was in Vegas. I don't know if you saw this. Everybody's
Oh,
talking about it. Uh,
you got
he
dunked
was
on,
walking.
yeah.
Well, he was. No, this is different. He was walking through Vegas. He was going to dinner. He had his security around him, and all of a sudden, this fucking lady screaming at him in a British accent, and screaming at him, runs up to him, and goes to like tap him on the shoulder or like grab at him to like swing him around, and his security guard whacks the lady across the face, basically slaps her because she's like 4 foot something. Turns out that lady was Britney Spears. uh,
That's kind of weird.
the video has been released and whatnot, and it's full on. She runs up and like is like slamming at him, and the security guard like fucking backhands her, and then they just keep on going. Victor didn't know until after dinner that it was actually Britney Spears. But the funny thing is, to me, is she keeps the British accent going because she's just weird. And she literally screams out, "It's America, asshole!" But now it's being said that if she wants to, because she did file a police report, that she could actually sue Victor for assault because technically tapping somebody on the shoulder is not threatening, and so you can't also go and assault somebody back. And since it's Victor's security guard, he is liable. So that rookie contract that he's getting all that money for is probably going to be gone with the lawyers that Britney Spears has.
So
Yeah.
what made Brittany want to talk to Victor Wembanyama? That's the
I,
weird part to me.
I think she's actually a really big NBA fan, actually.
Wow,
Um,
I never would have guessed.
right. Plus, she's just super weird as it is too. So it's probably one of those things. You see a celebrity, you just want to take a picture of them, and for her, it's like, I'm Britney Spears. I can do what I want. It's probably the first time she was ever put in her place. So.
Right. I mean, yeah, he's not even from America, so yeah, she must have really known basketball to know him.
Right.
Otherwise, talking about gaming, what is going on there?
Honestly, not a lot. You know, I know the court stuff was kind of paused a little bit with the Activision Xbox, PlayStation thing due to the holiday. I know there was some extra stuff being released that it's more just Xbox and PlayStation still just going at it. No big releases or anything like that. I feel like there was actually something pretty big, but I can't think of it. Not necessarily gaming, but Mr. Beast released this like crazy video. I watched it last night. He usually does like once ish a month or every 2-3 months, where it's experiments, and they slowly gotten bigger and bigger. He had a gigantic trench dug out, and it is at least like 50 feet deep. And he drove a train into it and crashed it. And then he did like 2 buses and a tank, and like they were remote controlled as like a tug of war to see who would win. And then he crashed 2 buses into it. And then he put 10 fighter engines on a sports car and launched it off a ramp and jumped a bunch of buses and stuff. It's probably one of the craziest videos I've ever seen. So definitely should go watch it. It was enough where I paused it halfway through and restarted it, and then got Kim to come out and watch it too because it was just kind of nuts. So not necessarily gaming, but YouTube gaming.
Talking about Mr. Beast too, I saw a clip. Someone said that Mr. Beast said that he could start a totally new YouTube channel, get 20 million subscribers without using his face or any of his
he has. Yeah, he actually he has gone to dead channels to people that have reached out to him in the past, saying I don't know what you're doing, whatever, can I get some help? And he's actually like gone to those people, gave him his like step-by-step instructions of what he does, how he does it, how he frames it, and because he studies that algorithm more than anybody on YouTube. Yeah. And basically just gives a couple YouTubers like the keys to the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, no, they went from 50 subscribers, some of them as much as like 10,000, and got them in the millions, like within a couple months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's the man.
Yes, he is. Mr. Beast is a beast.
Then like this isn't really related to gaming, but again, Mr. Beast. I saw a clip from one of his videos. He was messing around with elephant toothpaste. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's a few years ago.
So what happened when he put the toothpaste in the house and let it go? Did like the roof go off?
The house was destroyed. Yeah, and it was like I think it was like Chandler's parents' house or whatever, and he just bought him a new house.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, jumping into regular news, the student loans, I guess that was a big thing. That was shot down. What was your reaction there?
What? Stupid, obviously. Well, we've been on pause since basically 2019. As far as student loans goes, it was paused because of COVID, and then it's like, vote for me, your student loans will be gone, type of thing. Finally, we were seeing some progress with it. Student loans gone. Hooray. And then the Supreme Court. Yeah. And then now they're saying, too, that when it resumes, that it's going to just completely destroy the economy. Because with inflation being what it was, everybody's budget was going with, like, inflation to get, like, the regular goods and all that, right?
Yeah.
Falcon just sent me something. It's the weirdest notification just to keep popping down. Anyway, um, basically, now though the economy is going to be all kind of fucked because people's budget doesn't really account for the student loans anymore, and with inflation as high as it's gone up, I mean, I know personally, with as a family of four, I'm definitely feeling the inflation, especially recently. Um, my budget doesn't account for for my student loans currently, so it's going to be a huge readjustment. So it's going to be, they're saying as much as 30-ish% of our economy is going to decrease now because people are going to be paying into the student loans. Now with the student loan part itself, now personally, I think they're super predatory. Colleges basically force you to do it. Unless you're working a bunch in the summer, kind of like what you were doing a lot too, when we were in school. But I just remember like the first year Hamlin, I was doing it all myself, right? I didn't understand everything that was going on. I thought it was good, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we need 20 grand, otherwise you're not going to school. It's like, what? And then you get pulled into the financial aid office. They're like, hey, sign here, sign here, sign here. All right, you're good now. Okay.
Right.
So it's not something that's actually explained to you in full. It's not saying, hey, just so you know, for like the next 30 years, depending on how much you're taking out, you're not, this is what you'll be paying, type of thing. And this is how much you're going to be paying. And it's not just one loan. This is actually like 5 because we spread it out over 3 in this area. And then we also have 2 over here. So it's super predatory. It's not consumer friendly in the slightest because it's not made to be, and the interest usually is pretty high because most people at 18 don't have an actual credit score or anything like that, so it's a pretty high interest loan. So, and then you have people that are like teachers that have to pull out these kind of loans, and they make 30 grand a year. So they'll never get out of debt.
Right.
So,
they have to go more years than us, yeah.
Right. I feel like there should be certain cutoffs, right? If you go to school and you get a degree in like women's studies or history, that's literally like there's no career option in that, like almost whatsoever, unless you decide to be a professor or you have like some kind of political aspiration or researcher aspiration, but there's no like clear job, right? It's nothing that's going to help society or anything if you have a career in or a degree in women's studies, right? Pay your fucking college. But if you're going to be a teacher, a scientist that's trying to cure cancer, a doctor, or whatever, there should be definitely some more forgiveness towards that in general. And it just shouldn't be as expensive because, hey, you work for that, right? I mean, especially to be a doctor, you need straight A's almost all the way through school and all of that anyway. You worked hard for it? All right. There should be some forgiveness. Man, price for college is ridiculous anyway.
Yeah.
I think Hamlin in general, for example, where we went, I think it was like 42 or something like that when we started. I'm pretty sure it's in the 50s now. So
yeah, I bet. But yeah, I mean that was a lot about student loans. I guess just back to it. Like when I heard the announcement, my reaction, there are already reports out there that it wasn't looking good for months and months and months. So I don't know. I kind of left it open. I do remember, this time last year when it was announced, or close to this time last year, I was even kind of thinking then like, this is almost too good to be true. And
yeah,
it pretty much it was.
right.
I haven't looked into like the Plan B stuff too much.
No. I just hear it talked about a lot. That's the thing. Everybody talks about this Plan B, but nobody says what the Plan B is.
Sounds like it was 3 different plans, but one of them, there's one that's just some kind of forgiveness, but it's not clear or not even out there yet. Um, but yeah, then I mean another one's just like lowering the payment, but then you got to make the payment for more years. So
Right, and you're still getting hit with simple interest, so the interest is just gonna stockpile.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that was my thing. Yeah, again, I just went back a year ago. I'm like, yeah, it's too good to be true.
Yeah,
Um,
I was hoping I'd only owe $100
mhm.
if it was the full 10K. So, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, but we'll see like what the other steps are and whenever they're gonna start for the repayments again. If I had to assume, they probably want the holiday season to go smoothly. So it'd probably be like February or March of next year, I would assume.
So you're predicting
Uh,
another pause.
I want more. Because Biden is like, hey, I got another plan B and stuff like that. Supreme Court's gonna be like, oh, we want to hear this, but I don't think they're gonna want to completely mess up the economy right before we're going into election season too. Because I mean, fuck, starting in September, it's gonna be nonstop election stuff, for a year.
Yeah.
And if depending on where the Supreme Court wants to go and government in general, they if I was them, I'd wait. It's a strategic play. Make the economy go to shit in February, then you have to kick Biden out because everybody's pissed off, and here comes fucking whoever's next.
Yeah. Who will be next?
That's a good question. uh,
Do you on TikTok? Do you ever get the RFK videos?
no, nope. I got in a few for Kamala, and then I've been getting quite a few of the This is what the media doesn't want you to see. Trump videos. And it's like, ugh, he's indicted on so many charges. There's no way. There's no way he's ever going to be president again.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many charges. He's still going to run, but there's just no way.
For the Trump people too, obviously I feel like they liked, he's someone that isn't a politician getting into politics because they're bad or corrupt or whatever. But he's been in politics so long now. I feel like he's lost that.
Oh yeah,
One of the best things you could say about him.
right.
Then I do get a lot of the RFK videos, and like he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I like what he has to say, but again, I don't really trust politicians. You can say a lot of good things, but it's a whole nother challenge actually doing it, fulfilling all the promises. Like he's made some videos about like fixing homelessness, and like right away that's a lot easier said than done. It's just an ideology. I mean, if it was something simple we can do, I feel like it'd be fixed by now.
Already.
If it was just some kind of policy we could change.
And it's like homelessness has been around forever. People have been homeless forever. So it's not something that's gonna go away. Anything, if we start changing policies, it might just get worse. And it'd be like one of those things. Oh, it's got to get worse to get better. Not really, but
yeah, it's got to get worse to get better.
Right. One guy that I always keep my eye out. I don't think he's gonna run this time around. I know he was making some strides last time. Was Andrew Yang? Just because I like his way of thinking, it's a lot different. He's one of those guys that wants to do like a third party, not Democrat or Republican, but a whole new party, just because The Democrat-Republican thing is pretty corrupt as it is.
Yep.
But he kind of thinks in the way that people like Elon Musk and whatnot think, which is interesting. Then he also has the universal income that I'm super interested in. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast a few years ago,
Yeah.
and at first I was completely against it. Then I actually listened to him talk about it and stuff, and it's like, all right, yeah, let's do that. Obviously, with something like that, there's people that are going to try to take advantage of it, but there's a lot more pros than cons when it comes to something like universal basic income too. So, yeah, no, there's a, and he's also more of a businessman rather than politician, even though he's also somebody like Trump who's been in politics for a little too long, where he's kind of losing it a little bit. But it's nice to see some of those people kind of coming out of the woodwork a little bit, so you see their way of thinking. But same time, it's politicians. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's always going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought is he ever gonna run it? I feel like he's been talking about it for years.
Well, he ran last time, and he actually made it pretty far. And then when it came down to, or it was like a month before, okay, the final choosings of Biden, he backed out because just ran out of money, and I think he was only hanging around that 10-11% mark,
No.
so it just wasn't worth it, and whatnot. Just wasn't the big name.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing the government would want is somebody that's preaching universal basic income. They don't want to pay us.
Yeah. Especially I guess back in those days. Yeah, with everything going on. But, as time goes on with AI, I don't know, it's kind of hard to ignore. But
Yeah, and well, now especially with strikes going on and saying, hey, we don't want AI taking our job, and half the companies are like, we won't, and then half of them are like, if it happens, it happens. So what he's been preaching for fucking 4 or 5 years, and they're like, that's ways off. It's here. It's still early, but it's definitely here. So even for example, for the thumbnail for Players Only when you were gone, that's AI art.
yeah.
I didn't draw that. I didn't take a picture of it or anything like that. That's straight AI.
A lot of our TikToks are the ones with the writing on her. AI.
Yeah, and it's far from perfect, but it's nice.
Yeah, saves
it's
a lot
cheap.
of time. But yeah, otherwise, what was I just gonna say? What else is in the news? You got anything else? Oh, I just had I had something good. Can't think of it now.
While you're thinking of that, I'll say this because it's one of those things where the news can hurt more than it actually helps. Because the local news here in Minnesota, I was looking at YouTube, and sometimes I look at through the news clippings and stuff. And there's 2 really big news things. One is actually really close to us, and I'll get to that. But in Minnesota, they were testing the tap water, and they're like, "Hey, I forget the exact acronym, but it's PCSP or whatever was detected in tap water, and it's a bacteria that can cause cancer. So if you're drinking tap water, hey, you might get cancer." And they're like, well, yes. But that's only in 1% of homes and all throughout Minnesota where it might be something that might cause cancer. But it's in everybody's tap water. It's usually just less than a 1% where you're not going to notice it. It's never going to be an actual effect. or whatever. So the news is like, hey, stop drinking tap water. You're gonna get cancer. And it's like, well, think about it for a second. You've been drinking tap water. You don't have cancer. It's safe
Yeah.
if it's under a certain thing. And yeah, they just kind of scared everybody. But then the other news is they might have caught a potential serial killer about 5 minutes from us here in the Maplewood, St. Paul area. I forget exactly what his name was, but a woman went missing. Somebody called in a tip line because it's a mom of three, and turns out the boyfriend chopped her up into little pieces and dumped her in a storage locker. Turns out he was also connected to another missing girl that's been missing for like 8 years. 30 miles away, there was another storage locker that he was connected to, and she was also cut up into little pieces and put in there. And then he might have been doing this for a while, and there might be a lot more girls than we know. Currently, he hasn't been making any statements. He hasn't talked to the police. Probably smart by him.
So how did they finally catch him?
Because it was the boyfriend and whatnot of the mom of three, and it's just more questioning everything wasn't adding up. There was some kind of fight that somebody heard, and so they looked into it more, and then I guess they got some kind of warrant, or I think maybe it was like a smell or something like that was coming out of the storage facility that he was connected to, and they opened it up, and there she was. So, potential serial killer right here in St. Paul.
Yikes. Wow. So I remember what I was going to talk about here. Have you created a Threads.net account yet?
Oh, God. No. No, that's something I'm waiting on. I need to see a little bit more, personally.
So,
How about you?
again, like I keep thinking to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna make it." Just, I don't know, just put tweets on there, whatever, try and get popular.
Yep.
Do I actually think the app is probably gonna be that successful? No. Um, was I the guy 2 years ago that said TikTok was still gonna be here today and still be relevant and was right about it? Yes. So my problem with Threads is just seeing screenshots. It is Twitter, but instead of blue and white, it's black and white.
Yep.
So
With no hashtags and no private messaging and stuff, yeah.
So yeah, right, it's like what are you gonna do to get people to move over? Oh, just because you can link up your Instagram account? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. Who cares?
And if you can't delete your Threads account without also deleting your Instagram, that was also a talking point as well.
And yeah, I guess they'll do that so that people can't do anything about it. I saw on TikTok today, 70 million users. Yeah, but I bet 69 million of them aren't active. I bet they made it and, barely
Yeah,
use
because
it.
I think he said he wants to hit like 1 billion users within a year or something like that.
Sure, he could, like Zuckerberg with his reach and whatever,
Mhm.
but when you only have, 1 million or less actually truly active checking it once a day
Yep.
or even once a week, then who cares? It's going to be a ghost town.
Yep. Yeah, it is that. And then I also did see that Twitter was saying that they are looking into suing Facebook. So who knows? Maybe that's going to stir up some more controversy for this cage fight. Really hope happens.
I mean, I saw Elon had some tweets about, now it's personal. But dude, I was the one saying I don't think that fight's gonna happen. Here we are, a couple weeks later, still hasn't been a date announced or anything. I don't know.
Right. I did see there was a photo going around that he's training.
Who?
Elon. He got his like ass kicked in training. uh, and then I think there was something like his dad said, "Don't do it. You're gonna embarrass the family," or something like that because he's gonna get his ass kicked. Because Zuckerberg trains. I don't know if you know that he's actually like a judo master or something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I saw TikToks on him having that background. Yep.
Oh.
Which again will make it interesting because Elon's a lot bigger,
Yep.
and 40 pounds heavier.
Yep. So, no, I kind of don't have any interest in the Threads thing. I'm not too happy with you can only look at 600 things on Twitter. But at the same time, too, I'm not on Twitter that much to see 600 things.
Yeah.
At that, so it really doesn't affect me. I've tried to make more of a transition to Twitter to like promote stuff like the podcast and clips and stuff like that, but I just don't. It's not that I don't care enough about this. I just don't care enough about Twitter to do that type of thing. So,
because it'd just be hard, I guess, to I don't know, get new faces to watch stuff on Twitter.
Yeah. Especially not being verified and all that paywall stuff.
Yeah. The 600 character thing, yeah, I've never hit the limit.
Yep.
Again, they did do this to hit or to help against bots.
Yep.
Which I'm sure it'll help. And then I imagine one day, right, they get rid of it, but then
you would think
they just come back or what happens there. But yeah, otherwise, do you see Threads being relevant in a year?
No. It's going to be one of those things that Facebook just gives up on.
Yeah.
And calls it quits.
Right. It's not like, for the people watching, it's not like, Facebook has hit on everything. Like, all the metaverse stuff, they basically gave up on, laid a bunch of people off. Facebook, like the glasses, they've tried, there's been rumors about that. Gave up on. And then, I mean, other companies. With Threads, I keep thinking of Google Plus. If you remember what that was way, way, way back in the day. Like, I kind of get those vibes. Like, they're going to force it on people. And, I don't know. It's just, like, they're not going to... It's just going to be a ghost town,
Well, and then even then, it's like... I don't use Facebook really at all. I've thought about just deleting my Facebook as it is, just because I don't go on it. I don't use it. I don't really care to use it. Sometimes it's nice for like events and stuff, or I'll see a cool news article on there from time to time if I am scrolling. But it's just I couldn't care less, and I don't use Instagram like at all. So the whole Facebook thing just doesn't interest me at all. The only thing that interests me is the MetaQuest. Still the best bang for your buck as far as VR goes, but otherwise, Facebook, I could just completely care less. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. There was one TikToker that like I don't know, made it all about politics and I can't wait to get rid of Twitter for Threads. I don't know. Like,
what's the other Twitter though? That Trump was on. Is it Truth Social or whatever? Is that even still a thing at this point, or not really?
Who knows? I never hear anything. that's the first time I thought about Truth Social in in months.
Right.
Probably, yeah, second time this year. Never made an
Right.
account there either. I so I thought I should almost try this with Threads.net.
Yep.
People on True Social, I remember when that came out years ago. I saw TikToks. They would like pretend to be Walmart, like post things, and then like people would comment like complaints, like Walmart,
Yep.
McDonald's, stuff like that, and then they would like give people like rude replies. So you can imagine,
Oh yeah.
the shit they started
Oh,
doing that. Oh
right.
god, someone needs to do that with Threads. Anyways, anything else in the news?
No. I mean, that's really the major stuff that's going on. It's actually a pretty slow week, probably because of the holiday and whatnot. So
Yeah.
take it. I'll take it. It was kind of a heavy but short players only last week as it is. So, um, we'll take you while we can. So.
Yeah. All right. Otherwise, again, everyone's still watching. Subscribe so you can watch us next week. Again, we got a full week of uploads this week. The Career Chronicles, Fantasy Football Drama, another food challenge, plenty of shorts, TikToks. You got any upload plans or channel plans this week?
Keep on going with the challenges. Everybody seems to be kind of hyped up about those. I have a couple other ideas that I plan on doing as well. I'm a little beat up from the Tough Mudder race, but I gotta kind of power through, keep it going. Last thing I want is a comment or something on one of the videos like, "Oh, you missed a day." So, yeah, I keep going on with those, and then I got a few things up my sleeve here. I was thinking about potentially having one long form video once a week or twice a week, maybe as more of an in depth sort of headline thing, just because that could be kind of fun to do. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
More to come.
More to come. All right. Peace out.
Let's see.